Why is Poseidon, who is green, wearing green pants? Sleep paralysis demons. Incestuous. Who needs a ring light when the sun is as bright as the sun? And literally put her foot in my eye. What's up, guys? My name is Natalie, and welcome to my Nook of Novels. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon, but this is going to be in the format of 24 and 48. So essentially the first day, right, this is going to be a 2-day kind of process, if you will. Day 1, I'm going to be reading from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and day 2, I'm going to do the same thing. At the point I'm filming this intro, I've actually already done the readathon, so the way that I'm going to explain things might sound strange because of past tense or whatever, but I'm just gonna do my best to make this all make sense in the order that you guys are gonna be watching it. I'll start by kind of going over my TBR for the readathon. So the really biggest, main thing that I am trying to read within this video is the Lore Olympus Series by Rachel Smythe, volumes 1 through 7, because I wasn't able to acquire volume 8. I'm gonna have to get that through an interlibrary loan at some point later in time, so I will read that one hopefully soon. But for now, volumes 1 through 7 are kind of the main priorities of this video. The next thing is Halluci-Dating a Demon by Ashlyn Mills. This one I had specifically put on my October TBR just for this readathon because I thought it would be perfect for it. So I really have been hoping to read the whole Lore Olympus series and this within this 24-hour readathon. In the title of this video, where I'm talking about reading 8 books, this is essentially what those 8 books are, is the 7 Lore Olympus and this. These are kind of my main, these are the ones I really want to get through in this video, but I mean, obviously any 8 books would be ideal. These are just the things that I was hoping to read the most out of everything. And by the way, Lore Olympus, I had read this first book before. I read this last December, but I had only read the first volume, so I was rereading that so that I can continue with the rest of the series. And then this, I just acquired very recently and thought it would be perfect for this challenge. This is a romance about a demon and a person, so that's all I'm gonna say about that so far. I'll talk more about that in the video. The concept of it is so fun and so wild and interesting. The next thing is Ruin by John Gwynne. I just hit myself in the ear with this. The goal for the most part is to read a chapter of this between every book that I finish. So Lore Olympus Volume 1, chapter of Ruin. Lore Olympus Volume 2, chapter of Ruin. In general, what I've been doing with this the last few weeks is just every chapter I read of my main book, I read a chapter of this, or 2 chapters of my main book, whatever, just whatever I'm feeling at the time, but just that I'm making a little bit of progress in this as I go, but just so I'm able to also be finishing books relatively quickly and not putting myself in a reading slump because this is a giant fantasy book. And with big fantasy books, once I get really busy, it kind of makes it hard for me to keep picking it up and absorbing myself back in a complicated world when there's just a lot to get through and to process, and I don't always have a ton of time to be able to dedicate to it. So it feels really slow going. It feels really hard to understand sometimes when this is just my main read, and it makes me not like it as much. So I've been trying to take little nibbles of this, little tiny bites, while I focus on other things, and so far that's been going really well. But that's just kind of the goal for what I want to read of this within this video. I also wanted to listen to The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling within this video as well. Listening to this as an audiobook because I borrowed it from Libby because it's Halloweenish and I wanted to read that during the month of October. So those are my main reads for this video. I kind of want to prioritize physically reading versus listening to the audiobook, but there's also some stuff that needs to be done in general, so listening while I do other tasks is something that I do a lot to kind of be the most productive that I can. I think that's really all that I have to say for the most part before kind of just sending you guys off to experience my reading throughout the 24 hours. I really do hope that you guys enjoy this. I have a lot of fun doing this readathon and making the video, so I am hoping that it's enjoyable for you guys to watch as well. So without further ado, here is my 24 and 48 readathon.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares, standing right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me?
Silhouettes of you are like a taunt. Never really know just what you want. With you I don't ever feel calm. I can feel the sweat inside my palms. Play with me like cats and a string. You don't understand the pain it brings. You don't ever wanna give me wings. You don't ever wanna set me free. You know I'm addicted to you.
Hey y'all, so welcome to the first update of this readathon. It is 7:34 in the morning and I have already finished my first book of this video. I finished Lore Olympus Volume 1. I was already at least halfway through this when I started this morning, so it did not take me very long at all to get through this. And now I am on Lore Olympus Volume 2, episode 32, so I'm this far in. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, just as I suspected I would. I originally was planning to wake up at like 4 o'clock this morning so that I could film a couple things before I actually started this, because there's stuff I meant to film yesterday but I didn't get a chance to because I had a lot of other stuff I was working on yesterday, so I just didn't get around to it. And so I meant to film the intro for this video as well as the intro for my October vlog that's really just going to be more of like a Halloween time kind of vlog. And then I also needed to get the thumbnail for the reading sprints I'm going to do today. I don't know yet what time I'm going to do them. It kind of just depends on when I end up getting my thumbnail for those, but I'm thinking around like 12 or 1. I don't want to do them too late in the day because after this readathon ends, I started at 6 a.m. it'll end at 6 p.m. As soon as this ends later, I need to like get up and run out the door because me and Venus have a house showing to go to at 6:30. So we're gonna go to our house. It's one that I've already been to and I'm so excited. I love this house and I've seen it already. He hasn't, so we're going so that like he can have a look at it too and kind of see if he likes it or not. But yeah, so I did not wake up until like 5:45 this morning, which that's funny that I'm saying that because obviously that's really early in the morning. But yeah, so I didn't end up getting to film anything, so I am gonna need to like put my makeup on and get everything ready and at least get the thumbnail today earlier in the morning. So I've been listening to The Kiss Curse by Aaron Sterling. I just started it this morning, so I'm still on chapter 1. I'm 16 minutes in so not extremely far. I'm feeling so tired and sleepy, but I got a Dutch Bros coffee. It's a protein mocha with orange flavoring, so hopefully that like kicks in soon and I start feeling more alive, but we'll see if that works or not. But I'm planning to kind of wake myself up a little bit, kind of do some cleaning. Sorry about like the mess. I know it looks crazy like behind me and everything. I really do want to get some of the house sorted out today because there's kind of a little bit of stuff everywhere. I haven't really been able to do a ton of cleaning the last week or so just because I've been really preoccupied with a lot of other things. I'm gonna try to listen to the audiobook while I do some of that and while I do my makeup and everything. My main priority is gonna be like physically reading, but just to kind of give myself a little break, just because I'm gonna have some things I'm gonna have to do, I want to make sure I can still be reading while I do those things. And then also like sometimes I'm just gonna need a brain break from sitting and like do something to wake myself up, which I feel like cleaning really does for me. I also have a piece of furniture over here in a box and it's been sitting there for probably 6 months. It's a shelf stand thing for our TV to sit on. Now, when I got it, I was buying a lot of furniture at the time, and so I got that one specifically because it matches really well with our coffee table. They're like almost identical, and it will definitely fit really well with the vibes of this room. However, once I started organizing things in here, the home that the cat's litter box found was right under the table that the TV is sitting on right now, and that thing is just like a shelf thing, right? So there is no like underneath space, and there really wasn't a better spot to put the litter box, so I kind of just left it in a box over there for when we eventually move. But now we can just move the litter box now that we have an extra bedroom in the house, because if y'all don't know, my roommate moved out recently, so I've been trying to sort out like what to do with that room. So we're just gonna move the litter box in there, I think, and I can go ahead and build this furniture piece now. So that's not like super high up on my to-do list or anything, but I do enjoy building furniture and putting things together. So if at some point today or tomorrow I feel like doing that, I might do that like while I listen to the audiobook. I do anticipate that it'll probably take me quite a while, but I can at least like get started on it or do it in bits and pieces if I feel like. So that is something I might partake in. I'm not 100% sure, but it is something that I could potentially do during this video. That being said, I do think I want to like get on my feet right now and just move around and do something because sitting here, like, now that Venus left for work, well, not work, he has like a class thing today. He doesn't does construction, and just every once in a while they make them do classes. So he has that today. So, which is why he left only just recently. He left like probably 10 minutes ago instead of at like 5:30 in the morning or whatever. But he just left, and now my energy drained away now that he's not here to like keep me awake. So I'm gonna try to like do something to awaken myself. I don't plan on sleeping during the 12-hour increments. Obviously, in between I will be sleeping, but for right now, I am trying not to. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna find something to do to keep myself alive and awake for now. Also, one more thing I forgot about. I always remember like right as I'm trying to end the clip. I haven't read my chapter of Ruin yet for finishing Lore Olympus Volume 1, just because it's so early in the morning and the graphic novel is like easier to process right now with it being so early. So I think once I finish Lore Olympus Volume 2, I'm just gonna go ahead and read like both chapters of that and get those out of the way and then continue. So yeah. Hey y'all, so I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. It's 10:15 right now, and I have pretty much just been listening to the audiobook since we last spoke. I haven't read any more of Lore Olympus, and I've pretty much just been doing like productive things. Well, oh my gosh, I don't know why my voice is doing this. I've pretty much just been doing productive things while I listen to The Kiss Curse. I'm 2.5 hours in now, so definitely making some good progress in that, which is good because I didn't realize it's due back in a week because I'm borrowing it on Libby. So it's good that I am making a lot of progress in that today. Obviously, like I said before, the physical books are my main priority, but I've just been like wanting to be up and about, like doing things, and I'll probably like continue to do that a little bit until my sprints start. I think I'm gonna do my reading sprints at 12:30. I just got the thumbnail while I was sitting here, literally right before I filmed this update. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the actual thumbnail with the footage that I got for that. And then I'm gonna listen to the audiobook obviously while I do that, and then I'll probably just keep cleaning and such until 12:30 when I do those. The reason being, I want to be sitting down and just reading once I start the sprints and throughout the duration of them, and so I'd rather do anything that needs to be done that I would be up and about for like before those start, just to make sure that I can fully be sitting and absorbed in my reading later. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Some things that I did, I went to get coffee, which I think was before the last update, so never mind. Ignore me on that. Yeah, I mean, I just cleaned a couple things. I went to the grocery store just to grab like a few things, some snacks and such. I listened to the audiobook while I was there for the most part, and then I got gas in my car and I wrapped some Christmas/birthday presents. I put my makeup on, and that's pretty much everything I've done so far. So yeah, there's still like a little bit more cleaning, and like I can put up some laundry too, which I don't know for sure if I'll do that. It's not like urgent or anything, but I might. I do need to wash some of the blankets because we washed our bed sheets yesterday, and I don't want like half of the things on our bed to be clean and half of them to be dirty, because then I don't want to just like re-dirty up the things I already cleaned. So I'll probably go ahead and wash everything else, and then my thumbnail, like I said. So that's really everything, and I don't have much to say for right now. I am feeling really sleepy, but I do feel like I'm feeling better as we go. I did like try to take a 20-minute nap, but I couldn't fall asleep. It's weird that we still have so many hours left. I don't feel like I've been doing this for an insane amount of time. It's been about 4 hours now, but it just feels very strange. I don't know. Time moves really weirdly during readathons. So anyway, I'm gonna go do some stuff. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit. So I got back to reading Lore Olympus, and something that I noticed in this book that I thought was so fun. I love when there's fun little details in books. So it's showing this like news tabloid thing that has come up a couple times, and then it shows like on the side a daily weather report, sun, and more sun. This is Olympus and the weather is always fine. And I thought that was funny. I love when books have little details of things like that. I think it's really fun and interesting. Also, like the art in this is so beautiful. I love it. The color schemes are so nice, and this is exactly my ideal perfect art style, so it's so much fun. And I wanted to also talk a little bit about the X-Hex. I'm almost to the halfway point now. I've actually listened to quite a bit of it. I've gotten through 3.5 hours now, I want to say, and it's pretty good so far. I think it's really interesting that like both characters, they've like kissed so far, and they're so in denial. It's like an enemies to lovers thing. They're so like, no, this will never happen. And it's so funny funny because so the kind of circumstance under which they kissed was this like dust fell on them and they both were like, oh, it must have been a love spell. The guy found out that it wasn't a love spell at all, and then the girl, I forget their names, it's Gwen and Llewellyn / Wells, I guess. I don't know why he has two names, but anyway, Gwen found out that a love spell wouldn't even work like that. It doesn't make you love someone that you don't already have feelings for. So yeah, I think it's really interesting, but neither of them know if the other person knows that it wasn't something that worked on them and that they just kissed because they had feelings for each other. And I think that's really fun. I think it's such a fun vibe. The Glensgrave series in general, Graves Glen, sorry, the first book was so Halloween vibes, and so is the second one, and I'm having a lot of fun. It's just kind of like a cute little witchy shop. It's like such a Halloween vibe. Honestly, like that's the best part of the book is just like the atmosphere, and it's a lot of fun. It's 11:35, so I have about an hour left until sprints later, so I'm just gonna get back to reading.
And it's twisted, you've been gifted with the evil voodoo.
Hey y'all, so it's 1:05 and I finished Lore Olympus Volume 2. I'm also doing reading sprints right now, so I took a little bit of a reading break so I could like set those up and obviously start talking to the sprints and everything. But I finally finished my second book of this vlog so far. I'm really enjoying it so far. The tension is really fun. I am really hoping they actually get together soon, because the fact that like neither of them are saying anything and they both just like assume the other one isn't interested is kind of annoying, but also it's like really cute. So I'm having a good time so far. The plot is definitely very thick and deep between like all of the characters. There's a lot of relationships going on between, you know, friendships, romantic things, familial things and issues and stuff like that. And I'm really liking the kind of content of the story outside of the romance. There's a lot kind of going on there, but it's really, really good. It's really interesting so far. And I don't really have anything else to add aside from that, but I am having a really good time. That being said, I'm gonna go ahead and read my 2 chapters of Ruin now, and then we're gonna keep moving along and get to Lore Olympus Volume 3.
Got me coming back for more, even when I've been screwed. Dolls full of pins, pierce my heart straight through. I got issues in my head, I like you in my bed, but you keep me on red. Oh, everything is like a test, I better not text or I'll come off desperate.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, baby you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed, thinking something out of my nightmares, standing right there.
Hey y'all, so I've been on sprints for a while now, and so I wasn't really updating y'all while I was doing that, but now it's 4:38 and I am on Volume 4 of Lore Olympus. So I'm trying to think, I don't really have a ton I feel like to say about this series so far. There's definitely some parts that are really cute. I'm loving the art style. I've rated all of the volumes 4 stars up until this one, and this one I think is still going to be 4 stars as well. Basically, I'm just having a really good time overall. I've read 2 chapters of Ruin so far for 2 of the volumes, and then once I finish up this one, I'm going to read 2 more chapters of it. Yeah, something really weird that I realized about Greek mythology. So there's like a scene in this where Hera kisses Hades, and I was thinking how strange it is, because in my brain I was like, oh, I thought they were siblings, and then they were talking about how she's Zeus's wife, and I was like, oh, that's right, that's who she is. And then I googled it, and it's apparently he's Zeus's wife and sister, which also makes him Hades' sister. So I was like, that's really strange that there's like so much incest. I mean, I knew like Greek mythology was like that, but it was just weird googling it and realizing that's how they're related, and I was like, oh, I don't love that. But I'm assuming that in this book they're not siblings, so that, you know, our main characters and love interests aren't people who are incestual. I don't really know what the word is for that. That's just what I would assume. But yeah, so far the plot is really good in this. It's giving contemporary romance vibes, even though obviously it is like set in Olympus and the underworld and such. But yeah, it's a really great time so far. My mouth really hurts. I don't know if I told you guys, my tongue has been catching on my teeth, and every time I talk it just makes it worse and worse. So my mouth hurts a lot. That's been a struggle for me throughout the reading sprints. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about these. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, they're really good. I've been getting sleepy this past few chapters, so I might just take like another 10-15 minute nap, just kind of let myself rest a little bit and recover, or I might just lay here and just read until I decide that I don't want to be awake anymore. That's probably what I'll do, because now I feel fine, but once I'm like sitting and reading for a little bit, I do get sleepy again. So we'll see. I do have to go places after I finish this readathon up today, so I don't want to make myself like too exhausted and not be functional anymore. But also my boyfriend is coming home soon because he got finished with his stuff early, so I might just try to stay awake at least until he gets here, and then maybe I'll fall asleep, or we might read Saga when he gets here. So I don't really know. One thing I do want to show you guys is that, so I've been working on this real life garage that I was building for Venus, and I finally finished it. It took me forever because there was this one part that was so hard to put together, and I had like completely given up on it and skipped past it, and I went back to try and build it again, and I had to like use glue to get everything to stay together, and it's still like, that part still didn't turn out great, but I was like, at least I'm finished with this part of it. And so then I put the rest of it together, and I think it's really cute looking, but it's up here on top of this shelf, but it's just a little garage and I love it. I love how cute and tiny Row Lives are, and it makes me happy, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah. Hey y'all, so it's the next day now. It's 7:35, and I ended up not actually starting I ended up not starting the readathon for today until 6:30 this morning instead of 6, because I accidentally woke up a little late, but that's not a big deal. Obviously, we can just extend it until 6:30 tonight, and I don't have anywhere I have to like rush off to afterwards or anything. Yesterday, I ended up reading until, I want to say, about the halfway point of Lore Olympus. As I've been sitting here reading, obviously, I made some more progress in this as well, but yeah, I probably made it around halfway through this, and so far so good. Things are still going very well. There's some more weird stuff with the Greek gods where the relationships are really strange, because a few minutes ago I got to a part where, sorry, ignore the cat climbing up the curtain over there, she's making a ruckus. Oh, and she's about to knock our internet in the floor. Love that. But I guess Zeus had f***ed Aphrodite, but Ares is with Aphrodite, but Ares is Zeus's son. So I was like, that's really strange that he f***ed his son's girlfriend. That's really weird. So that's really cool and awesome. And then yeah, there was also something towards like the beginning of, I want to say it was volume 1 or 2, when Hades and Persephone were first interacting, and he was talking about way back in the day, like his first, potential love interest or whatever. He like didn't want to be with Demeter, Persephone's mom, but it was like weird because he brought her up as like a potential love interest, and it was just really strange because Persephone was like, ew, that's my mom. That's really interesting and weird. But aside from that, things are going well. Also yesterday, me and Venus finished up Saga Volume 10. We ended up having just enough time to finish this up. And then we also finished the readathon a little bit early yesterday. I was looking at the maps and realized that the house we were looking at was like slightly further away than I was thinking in my brain. And so we left around 5:50 instead of 6, just so that we would have enough time to get over there. So if I wanted to add another like 10 minutes or so to this, I could. And honestly, like if I'm feeling it, I might just keep reading until like 7-ish tonight anyway, just because the point is like to get the full 24 hours of reading, and there's like the 10 minutes there. I showered just now, which is another 10 minutes. I took a couple naps yesterday. They were both things that I told you about. I told y'all I was going to take like a 10 or 15 minute nap. That one was actually 20, but it's okay. I think it'll be fine. So if I wanted to add a little bit more for that, I wouldn't deduct points off of myself or anything. So it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling later, but that's as far as I'll go though. Once we get to 7, I'm going to call it quits because I don't want to like get too ridiculous or anything up in here. But yeah, those are the things. I was thinking I might also try to read Saga Volume 11, but I don't think we're going to make a ton of progress in that, just because even if he does get off early today, I don't think it'll be enough time to read the full volume. And so I don't know if we'll bother reading like half a volume. I do today, let me turn off the heat so that y'all can hear me as good as possible. I do today really want to prioritize physical reading. I know I said yesterday it was going to be my main priority, and then I did a bunch of other stuff that was like listening to the audiobook, but today I really do want to read pretty much exclusively my physical books, because I am only on volume 4 and we're halfway through the readathon, and I feel like I just really want to make sure that I can get through this whole series. And I also really wanted to read my Funny Demon, sorry, not my Funny Demon Valentine, Halluci-Dating and Demon. I also really wanted to read that for this video, so I just want to make sure I get through these as quickly as possible. The one thing that I might stop and listen to an audiobook is I might run to the library today because I have some interlibrary loans that came in for Chainsaw Man volumes 2, 3, and 4. So I might go pick those up today, or I might just wait until tomorrow and get them then. Who's to say? But that is an option of something I might do. These are going to be my priorities, and I'm not going to continue reading Ruin in between the books just because, again, like, I just really want to make sure I can get through all of Lore Olympus in this video. Not because I like have to for any reason, I just think it would make things a lot easier for myself going forwards if I'm already through this series. Also, my poor eyeballs. So I took a nap in my contacts yesterday, and then I put in my eye drops, but then soon after that I went to take my contacts out to go to bed, but I really just didn't feel like taking off my makeup, so I didn't. I slept in it. So I slept in my contacts, and then I slept in my makeup, and when I went to take it off this morning, I literally got the makeup wipe in my eyeball. So my eyes like hate me now, but it's okay. Also, the cat has been being so terribly rude this morning. I've had like my water and my Celsius sitting up here on the dresser with my pen and bookmark and earbuds, and she's literally been trying to drink my water, throw all three of those things on the floor. She's been like climbing up my hair, clawing me. Like, she's just been so rude, and I'm really not appreciating it. So I have already had enough of her today, and I'm hoping she does not continue to be a little brat throughout the rest of the day. So here's hoping. I think I'm gonna get back to reading so that I can finish this up very, very soon. That's that. I don't really know what else to say. So I'm so annoyed. I don't know when we last spoke. It was like 7 something, I want to say. And I completely fell asleep. I was sitting here reading. It was 8:20 when I last looked at the clock. And I was so close to the end of this book, right? Literally a chapter away from the end, okay? So close to finishing volume 5. And I fell asleep, okay? So that was 8:20, and now it's literally 11:30. So I slept for like 3 hours. It was more like 2.5. I don't even know. I literally was dreaming about being awake. So it's not like my body was like, oh, Natalie, you're oversleeping. I literally was fully like just chilling. Like, I was like, oh, I slept for 5 minutes and now I'm awake. No, I wasn't awake. I was not even really tired at all until the very last like chapter that I read, and I was like, wow, gosh, am I sleepy? But it's because I was just like laying here, like, slowly like getting cozier and cozier. And so I literally went to take a 5-minute nap, I tell you. And I woke up from the 5-minute nap, and for some reason I closed my eyes again. I don't even know. It's so annoying. So at this point in the day yesterday, I feel like it's when I started to feel like I was... Did you sneeze? This point in the day yesterday is when I started to feel like I was not making any progress. But at the same time, that is also when I was doing reading sprints, and I feel like I'm sometimes a lot less productive on reading sprints. A, because I have to like stop and talk every hour or so, and B, just because I can't always get as cozy as I want to, just because being on a live stream, I feel like I have to be completely 100% in frame all the time. Sometimes I just feel like I have to position myself a certain way, so it's like harder to actually sit and read. But I'm gonna lock in now and actually finish this book and move on to the next one. That being said, this readathon ends at 6 or 7, and now I just spent 3 hours literally being unconscious. So I don't know when I'm gonna actually end up ending this readathon since I've slept for all this time now. If I added the 3 hours to the end, to the 7 o'clock, it would end at like 10 p.m., which is like fine. Like, I could read until 10 p.m. I don't know if I'm gonna want to do that or not, but I'm kind of just gonna be loose about when this ends. The other thing is that like when I'm just sitting here at home all day by myself, I can just sit here and read, right? There's not any problems with that. But then once my boyfriend comes home, I like want to hang out with him and talk to him, and so I just get very distracted. And I can still read a lot, but it's like when he first gets here, we have to yap for a little bit and then do whatever we're doing. So I don't know if I'm gonna like start talking to him and be like, okay, I don't want to get back to reading, you know? So it's just gonna depend. We're gonna see. But I basically am just gonna end this readathon whenever I feel like it at this point, because I feel like either way it would be fair, you know? Oh, it was a 24-hour period if we end at 6:30 versus 24 hours of actual reading if we end at like 9:30. So I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep reading for now, and it's gonna depend a lot, I feel like, on the progress I make in the next couple hours, because hypothetically when I'm just sitting and reading it straight through, it's been taking me like an hour to read each of these. I mean, I'm gonna finish this one up like really quickly, obviously, because I'm at the very end of it. So it's 11:36 right now. Let's say I am able to finish the next two in an hour each, so that would literally put me finishing at like 1:45, which still gives me so many hours left after that. I feel like I can do a lot with the amount of time I have left if I play my cards right and don't fall asleep again. So I am gonna walk in and read. I kind of almost want to go sit outside and read for a little bit, but I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't really been wanting to go outside a lot recently because the porch is like completely full of my roommate's stuff. It makes it feel like crowded out there. Is really it. Honestly, that's like pretty much the only thing, but it very detracts from my wanting to go outside. So we'll see. But I'm cozy right here. But that was the problem before. I'm like too cozy right here. So I don't know. Maybe I'll move to the couch. Maybe I'll go sit in my filming chair, which is really comfy to sit and read in for a little bit. So I'm just gonna finish this up and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Okay, so the last little bit of this book made me really excited for where the plot is going, because we're at a point right now where there's a lot of characters within the story world now, and almost all of them are working on something different. Like some of them are interconnected and related to things that other people are doing as well, but there's like these three working together, and then these three, and then these two, and then these people over here, and they're like all trying to accomplish their own little things within the overall happenings of the book. And so it's making for a really good and like strong plot, because it keeps switching perspectives around to things that are super relevant and interesting within each other. So I'm having a lot of fun, and the end of this book was really good. So I'm really excited to go ahead and start the next one. So I'm literally 2 pages into volume 7, 5, 6, 6, volume 6, and I already have thoughts and feelings. So why is Poseidon, who is green, wearing green pants that are exactly the same as his skin tone? Like, is that not the exact same as a person wearing skin tone leggings? Because at first I literally thought he wasn't wearing pants. Poseidon, you know better than this. Something I just remembered that I feel like y'all would want to know is that last night the cat literally stepped on my eye. I was laying here and she was trying to get up on the dresser, and we were like trying to stop her, and so she backed up and literally put her foot in my eye. So if I get pink eye, we know why.
If I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing?
So if I play dead, will you regret everything that you did, that you said? I don't think you understand what you're doing, and my heart's black and blue from the bruising. I feel like when I'm with you I'm losing. I feel like you think that this amusing, sitting there gaslighting and confusing. Was it me? Is it me? Am I deluded? I'm the one who's always sorry, the conclusion. Even though I offer all of the solutions, I wish you loved me like I love you. It's stupid when
Hey y'all, so I finished volume 6 now, and I'm moving on to volume 7. I don't really have much to say again about the story. Things are going well. I'm enjoying it. I moved to the living room. I put on an ambiance. I'll show you guys it in a minute. I was looking for like a purple fairy garden kind of vibes, because I wanted the ambiance to kind of reflect the vibes of Hades and Persephone being in the underworld together. I thought it would be aesthetically pleasing, so I put that on. I had a little bit of a snack earlier, and yeah, now I'm just keeping reading. It's 1:55 right now, which is insane, because in my brain I was thinking that I could be finished with both of these next volumes by 2, and now it is 2 and I haven't finished yet. So I'm not really sure exactly how that happened, but it's okay. Here we are, last volume of Lore Olympus, and then I'm all done. So, I mean, there's also volume 8, but I can't read that right now because I don't have the copy copy of it in my hands at the moment. So that being said, this is our last one for the day. So here goes nothing.
I'm alone with you, I never feel lucid. I wish I wasn't struck by Cupid. I wish when I...
It's just some like little parts of this book that make me laugh so much. He says, I don't mind not being a king. I could just hang out with Prometheus. He told me he's working on something called Pants, and that just made me giggle.
I first saw you, I knew this. When I'm with you, I feel so useless. I feel diluted, my heart's been wounded.
Oh my gosh. Guys, I'm actually in the trenches right now. I am still on volume 7. It is 3:15 right now, but I'm nearing the end. I don't know how much longer it's going to take me, but oh my gosh. I just feel like I've been reading these books for so long now. I mean, it's nice that there's so much of them because like they are really good and I'm really enjoying them, but I just feel like I've been reading them for so many hours on end, which I have. And it's also the fact that I really want to get to my next book, Halluci-Dating a Demon. Kitty, don't do this right now. I really want to get to this book during this video too. I've just been stressing, I feel like this whole time, about if I'm gonna have time to also read that book, which is like, ow, what'd you do that for? I've been like stressing about like, oh, am I gonna have time to read that book as well? Which is like, obviously it's not even a big deal, but I just really wanted to read that for this video specifically, like since I chose it at the end of September. So yeah, it like feels like a big deal in my brain. But I mean, obviously I am gonna have time now because it's not gonna take me like 3 more hours to finish this one book, so I will have time to read at least as much of that as I can. It might not be the whole thing, but I'll have time to at least get to it, but still. And I feel like I've been sitting down all day, which again I have, and I just want to like get up and like do dishes and stuff, but I really am trying to focus on my physical reads, which is great. Like I'm obviously again having a great time. I'm just a very productive person, so just kind of sitting and relaxing for a whole day is like stressful for me, which sounds like obviously it's the opposite of what you would think. Like it's a relaxing day, but it's not, because that's just not how my brain works. I'm enjoying myself though, and I'm really excited to finish this up. I just read this whole dramatic sequence involving a bunch of side characters. It was like 4 chapters in a row of just this dramatic sequence, like I said, of these characters. The way that the author built up the tension there was so nice, because basically there was like a narrator who was saying, oh, these 5 people all went into the mortal world and only 4 of them are gonna come back, which is so fun that it started off that way, and then it went on to like go through all the scenes and everything that happened, and just the tension was great because the whole time I was like, oh no, what if it's these people, what if it's these people, and it was a lot. So that was chef's kiss, done very well. I'm excited to see how this one is gonna end. Something that's so fun about the series is the different environments that the characters kind of coexist within, right? Because there's Olympus, there's the mortal realm, and there's the underworld. But there's like aspects of all 3 of them kind of woven together in each one. Because the mortal world, there's like nymphs and stuff, and it's more of kind of a peaceful place, I would say. But the gods kind of rule over that as well. But with Olympus and the underworld and all of that, they still have like jobs, like office jobs and things, because the gods obviously have to manage everything within the world. Essentially, like they're literally running the world, so they have to, I guess, show up and do their jobs. But there's all these like modern things going on, like there literally are like apartments and shops and stuff within the underworld, and I think that the way that that's like built is very fun and interesting, and it makes for just like a really fun world to read about. They also just have boring government stuff too, which also just makes it somehow really fun, and like how mundane it is as well. Like it makes it feel more real, if that makes sense. So basically what's going on and the point I'm at right now, and this isn't a spoiler, but there's essentially a trial happening. Like Zeus has claimed this person has committed high treason or whatever, so I'm gonna basically make them suffer how I did to this person. I don't remember the person's name. I want to say it's just like a Greek mythology reference that I don't understand, but he essentially made someone suffer somehow, and they keep comparing it to that. This chapter is literally just called See You in Court. So this last line, it says, blood of mine or not, if you proceed with this trial, I hope you're prepared to live with the consequences. See you tomorrow. And that's like Hades talking to Zeus. And I just think that's so interesting. They're literally just like going to court. They're just like having a trial, but it's like in Olympus, you know? So I think it's really fun, the like blending of all of the different like types of worlds. Hey y'all, so I was laying here reading in like the weirdest position. I started reading Halluci-Dating a Demon because I finished Lore Olympus Volume 7 and it left on a cliffhanger. Low-key, I don't even remember what it was now, but anyway, I'll find out at some point when I eventually read Volume 8. I started this, I'm approximately 2 pages in. It's 4:19 right now, and this is good. So I don't know what I was expecting, but the demons in this are sleep paralysis demons, which I just think is so funny. As someone who has experienced sleep paralysis before, this is just such a wild concept for a book, and I'm here for it. This is so funny. So basically, the dude is all like, oh, I'm a demon, and I like making people feel joy instead of fear. So why don't we try to just, I'm not really sure what the pitch is that he's trying to pitch to this dude who he's trying to get a job from, but it's really funny to me as a concept. But the dude, his reaction was so funny. He said, having some demon visit you while you're waking up or falling asleep will never be pleasant. He says, sounding agitated. But I guess like the main demon character is essentially trying to make sleep better for humans, and they're trying to kind of be helpful and like cure insomnia basically, which like is just so funny, and I'm so excited to see where this goes. So far, the writing style isn't anything crazy. I wasn't expecting it to be, but it's like kind of a little bit, I don't want to say boring or bland, but the writing style is not blowing my mind so far. But usually books like this, I notice it a lot at first, and then as I go on, I completely don't even realize anymore that that was something that was jarring. So hopefully that's the case, and as we go, I stop noticing. But yeah, this is quite entertaining so far. Who needs a ring light when the sun is as bright as the sun? I've read another couple of pages. Not very many pages, mind you, but a couple. This guy just does not have his shit together at all, which is really silly if you ask me. So basically, poor guy has sleep paralysis and narcolepsy, so he's just like really not doing great in the whole sleep department. And so he essentially got in a car accident. I want to say it's about a year before this takes place. He was driving, and because of his narcolepsy that he didn't know he had yet, he fell asleep at the wheel and killed his brother, and his boyfriend at the time was in the car with him too, and that like ruined their relationship as well. Obviously a year is not that much time, so it's still like a very recent thing for him that he's still kind of trying to get over. And so I definitely like the dramatic kind of like backstory thing. However, so this guy is talking about the fact that he bought a building, right, that he was thinking he was going to turn into a bakery, and then he ended up turning it into a coffee shop instead, which with the whole sleep disorder thing, I can totally see the train of thought, how that ended up that way. But also, how are you purchasing a whole building? First of all, I don't know how old this guy is, because he was also talking about the fact that they had bought this house that he was going to live with his boyfriend and brother in, that was like on a lake. So expensive lake house, first of all. And then you go and buy a business building, but then you don't even know like what you're building it for. And his coworker is talking to him about how he's like, you know, you should smile more, blah blah blah, like, actually interact with your customers. And I'm like, this dude runs a business and he can't even smile at his customers. How are you gonna be successful as the owner if you don't have customer service skills? You know what I mean? I just feel like he should have thought some things through before purchasing a whole building. I feel like there's some financial irresponsibility happening here, and I feel like this guy needs to use his brain a little bit more. Aside from that, thumbs up. Entertaining for sure. So once again, it's only a couple pages later now, and the main love interest has been introduced. Well, it's dual perspective, so it flashes between Arian and Elias. Elias is the guy who has sleep paralysis. Arian is the demon, and they just met for the first time. And the description looks nothing like how he looks on the cover, which really bothered me. Also, I found a typo already, which as someone who wants to be a book editor, I was like, oh, I would cross that out with a pen if I had a pen near me, but I didn't. However, then a man with soft blonde curls smiles at me instead. His hair is very similar to Brody's. His eyes are green too. He's as slender as him, but with curvier hips and softer features, longer lashes, and rosy cheeks. The sun is actually killing me right now. Okay. From the cover, you can't really tell about the body shape really, but soft blonde curls and green eyes, like it's just a purple demon with purple eyes and black hair, or like dark purple hair, I guess. And so I don't know if this, I'm assuming there's probably something that happened happens like some sort of, when this demon is using some sort of power, they probably turn purple, if I had to guess. But I feel like it's really weird that our first introduction is way different than what the cover looks like. So we'll see later on if something happens that makes that make more sense. But I know this is the love interest because he said something about like stars and moons, and that's right here. They're like doing a spell with that. So that's my assumption, but who knows? And this is also a world where monsters just kind of exist, and they're kind of like prejudiced against, or people are prejudiced against monsters, which I find is a very interesting social aspect of this as well. I just find that strange. The description was really weird. Anyway, moving on.
And I stay dead, baby, you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares. Stay me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing me? Then will you get bored of killing me? Then will you get bored of killing me?
Hey y'all, so it is now 8:14 p.m. and I kind of wanted to just go ahead and wrap up this readathon. So I read a little bit more of Halluci-Dating a Demon, and I got to what I feel like is a good stopping point for right now. I could keep reading. I might read another couple chapters before I go to bed, but I just wanted to go ahead and kind of wrap up this readathon and go ahead and get like a page count and everything so that I have at least something conclusive before the very end of the night. I'm going to start by actually talking about some more of my thoughts on this book. So there are so many typos that I found between just like the sentence doesn't sound right because the wrong word is used or there's the wrong punctuation. There was a part where the human main character, his ex is named Brody, and they were spelling it two different ways because they had been spelling it Brody with a Y and they randomly said Brody with an IE, and I was like, wait a minute, and I went back and checked and it was different. So there's just some little things like that, but I mean, that's not like a problem. It doesn't really affect my reading experience in a negative way. It just kind of stops me every now and then and I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't correct. But I do find it fun to notice grammatical stuff. So, you know, again, it's not like bad, but that is something that I would critique about this book. And then the interactions between the characters are cute. The story is really fun so far. I'm definitely enjoying myself with the plot and everything. This definitely gives like Monsters Inc. kind of vibes where they essentially just go into these people's homes while they're sleeping, not in a creepy way. Do you insist upon ruining my life? Okay, well, welcome to Karomi's Nook of Novels. She will be taking over for the rest of the squad. Oh, okay. She's just gonna eat me for dinner instead. That's cool and awesome. Anyway, it's giving Monsters Inc. because they don't go through like a portal or anything, but they kind of just appear while these people are sleeping and interact with the people experiencing sleep paralysis, which is really interesting. And it's just a really fun and like unique idea, even though it's so like silly. I feel like it's a wild concept for a romance book, but it's really fun and I'm enjoying myself so far for sure. Let's go over the page count that I read today because I'm really excited to see how many pages I read in this video. This is definitely the most successful 24-hour readathon I think I've ever had in terms of page count. Obviously, I read mostly graphic novels during this, so that is to be expected, but I'm excited to see what the grand total is. So starting with this, I read the first 50 pages of Halluci-Dating a Demon. I also read 17 pages of Ruin by John Gwynne. By the way, this book is by Ashlyn Mills. I did not mention that. I read the last 46 pages of Saga Volume 10 by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan. I read this to my boyfriend yesterday. I almost said Saga Volume 1. Lore Olympus Volume 1 by Rachel Smythe, which was 384 pages. Lore Olympus Volume 2, which was 368 pages. Lore Olympus Volume 3, which was 384 pages. Lore Olympus Volume 4, which was 416 pages. Lore Olympus Volume 5, which was 400 pages. Lore Olympus Volume 6, which was 432 pages. And lastly, Lore Olympus Volume 7, which was 416 pages. But I also just remembered I forgot to include the pages I read of the audiobook, which adds a lot more. So let's go look at that. And I found these page counts on Goodreads because there's not any page numbers in the actual graphic novels. For Saga, I literally just counted the pages that I read by hand because I read read only a part of that. And then, oh, you know what? I also read the last chunk of Lore Olympus Volume 1. So I'll take some pages off for that as well. That was probably closer to, I would say, like 150 pages instead of 384 for Volume 1. So I'll do the math for that. The Kiss Curse. This one I have to like do some math for because I can see the percent in I am to the audiobook, but then Goodreads will tell me the page count. So I'll have to calculate that. Okay, so it looks like I read 139 pages of The X-Hex. Sorry, The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling, which is this one. So here will be the total page count on the screen of everything that I read during this. In terms of how successful I feel about my reading, I feel pretty good, honestly. I definitely feel like this has been easier in the sense that obviously staying up for a full 24 hours makes it very difficult, and half of the time you're absolutely miserable. So this was better in that regard. I think in the future I would maybe space it out across 2 days that are not right next to each other, because while it is very fun, I kind of feel like I've just been sitting in my house for days on end doing absolutely nothing but sit in bed and read, which is true. Essentially, that is kind of what I've been doing, but I feel like it would just be a more fun experience if it wasn't all crammed together in such a way, or if I had allowed myself to listen to more of the audiobook today while doing cleaning the house and everything. That being said, this, I feel like in terms of all the reading I did get done, obviously lots of pages. I am a really slow reader, as you guys probably noticed from how long it took me to get through some of these volumes of Lore Olympus, but I am very happy with the overall amount that I was able to read in such not a small chunk of time, but in the time frame that I was allotted for this. I also feel very happy with like the content of my reading. I think pretty much everything that I read was like a solid 4 stars. Like all the Lore Olympus volumes I gave 4 stars. This one is going to be a solid probably 4 stars for me based on my enjoyment so far. Same with Ruin, maybe 4.5. It really depends on how Ruin goes. That one has the potential to be a great reading experience. It really just depends on how the plot goes throughout the rest of it. And then Saga Volume 10 was also 4 stars. And The Kiss Curse is also going to be 4 stars, I think. So I end up giving most of the books I read 4 stars. I don't know why it ends up happening that way. I guess just because I just really enjoy most of the things I read, but obviously I don't give out a ton of 5 stars because I want those to be just the books that I absolutely adore. So yeah, I mean, that's really all that I have to talk about in terms of all of these books. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this video, which kind of feels weird and silly that I'm wrapping this up already. But yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say. So yeah, this was my 24-hour readathon, 24 and 48 to be more specific. So that's all for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please hit the like button and subscribe if you would like to, and hit the notification bell if you would like to see the other videos that I post on Thursdays, with reading sprints on every first and third Monday of the month. The next one in October, however, will be on the fourth Monday instead of the third. My Bookstagram, my Goodreads, and my book talk will all be linked in the description of this video if you guys would like to check out any of those, as well as the link to some of my most recent videos, such as my October Wheel of TBR, my Spooky TBR, and my Cleaning Out My Closet for every chapter that I read for a day video. Thank you guys so much for being here and for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!